Imagine this. You go home one night and you tell your family, I want to start a new business. What? I want to start a funeral home. Where? In the old Italian restaurant down the road. You know, about a mile from the established funeral home that's been there for generations. What are you thinking? That would be the thought. Well, that is what Mr. Sorvino did. In Margate, Florida, Sorvino Funeral Home was established in March 2010. This man had a dream, I suppose. He opened up Sorvino Funeral Home, and it was up to him to make it a success. He was already, didn't have any experience, did not have any kind of a name established as far as a funeral home name, where, you know, a trusted funeral home name, that comes from generations of experience and people coming to utilize the services that you offer as a funeral director in a funeral home. This man was starting over from scratch. So what did he do to make it a success? He hired Funeral Home Resources web marketing company. Well, this was obviously the key, because their mission was to help funeral homes grow their market share by identifying at-need and pre-need families through online marketing. Who would have thought that online marketing would work for a funeral home? Well, I'm a believer now, because through setting up this website, the company got to know Mr. Sorvino, got to know his needs, and knew and understood what it took to make a business successful. Not only did he need a storefront or a funeral home, a physical funeral home, but he also needed a web home, which is very important in these days and times that we live in. So they established his website, which they took many different aspects of his funeral home. They had the funeral home tour online, they had staff pages, they had pre-planning information for anyone that Googled and wanted to know more about the planning of a funeral and the funeral home planning experience. They had some dedications to some of the deceased people that had went through there, which at this point there wasn't any. They were a brand new store. So they built it on the actual surroundings of Florida. Beautiful place, beautiful setup. So that's what they started with. They used what they call key words and put those in his website, and that pulled it. Google actually has something, which of course that's what a marketing company does. Google has what they call a bounce rate. Well, the bounce rate is how many times, let's say you type in your search bar, find me a funeral home. If it takes you down to a list and you go back up and hit your back arrow because you don't like that list, you want to go to another list, that's the bounce rate. That's how many times you bounce back and forth. If you have a low bounce rate, then you get actually bonuses by Google, by them sourcing you out there a little bit more. They're going to show your business a little bit more. So that's what this web marketing company did for Mr. Sorvino. They actually fixed up his site to where people were going to be drawn to it. They put those pictures of Florida and they concentrated on the nature and the beauty of the actual establishment that he had redone, which obviously no longer looked like an Italian restaurant. They, at that point, they even they put in a directory list, which sounds odd for your advertisement to have a directory list of other funeral homes. But think about that. What that does is their names may be on your website, but when anybody goes to their website, your name's also going to be on their website. It's going to mesh those, which means that your name is now across how many other websites. And you know, the road that leads back to Sorvino's could be possible future utilizers of the funeral home. It worked, basically. Because of the Funeral Home Resources web marketing company, There was 250 plus calls in their first year of business. Their site now appears #1 in the Google natural search results and their maps. By July of 2010, they had over 24 new family calls. Their actual site hits on the Google site went from 2,400 in March of 2010 to 9,000 site hits in July of 2010. That's definitely success. And 50% of their website traffic is sourced from the search engine. So, Funeral Home Resources Web Marketing, they did a very good job for Mr. Sorvino. And that just goes to show you that the website sourcing can actually work.